Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Your enemies been teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's the simple things in life, like learning again. It's the simple things in life, like finding where it all began. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know your history? History. Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it? Tell me, do you know it? Do you know it?
breathing on my back for sure when I let the truth go. We gon' let them know my people on my back for sure. I hold them down.
Hey, we're back. Welcome back to the show. Good to be back. All praise to the Most High. Let's jump into it. You are now tuned into
Our Hidden History Radio Show.
All right, so let's just jump into it, man. I'm excited to go into this stuff, man. Excited to go more into the slave ships. As you know, we've been heavily hammering down on the myth that slave ships did not exist. I take it very personal when I hear that because it's an insult to our ancestry, it's an insult to our forefathers and foremothers who underwent such terrible atrocities during the Middle Passage, and to have someone come along and spit on that is offensive to me. And so you have to excuse the sarcasm and the constant insults that I sling at those who choose to come with these particular fallacious claims. I don't like it. It pisses me off. So we're going to continue to stay on it for a little while longer before I get tired of it. When I'm done with all my notes regarding the slave ships, we'll stop. Some of y'all maybe find it redundant. I find it edifying. So we're gonna jump into page 191 of the Atlas. Page 191 of the Atlas now, the slave Atlas. Let's just jump right into it. The slave Atlas. Very good book. I suggest you guys buy it. We will show the cover. Show them the cover real fast. If you haven't time to show it. If not, it's fine. You guys need to get this book. It's very, very informative, very, very edifying, very detailed, very concise from what I understand, from what I've seen. This book has become very, very important in the use. Here we go right here. The Atlas of the Transatlantic Slave Trade by David Eltis and David Richardson. Okay? The Atlas of the Transatlantic Slave Trade, okay? You need to get a hold of this book. It's very good, very edifying, all right? Let's go to page 191 now. All right. Let's blow it up. 191. Blow it up, if possible. Is it allowing
you can't blow it up?
Is it allowing you to blow it? Okay.
Don't look like it.
Look, he's trying to, but it's making him go forward. Here we go.
All praise.
All right, let's go.
Insurrection on board a slave ship.
So this is the time when we was on the ship and we started to fight back. We gave resistance. There were accounts of that. Now, not all of them are recorded, but there are accounts behind you. There are accounts of us fighting back on the slave ship. All right, read on.
1851. A Quantum by W.L. Walton. From William Fox, A Brief History of the Wesleyan Missions on the Western Coast of Africa. London. Olaudah and Jones, 1851, page 116. Image courtesy of the Division of Rare and Manuscript Collections. Cornell University Library.
Cornell, another prestigious school. We've been reading from Yale. We read excerpts from Yale, Oxford, Duke. We seem to come across all these different books from all these prestigious universities speaking about our history, and you got dumb jailbird Negroes talking about no damn slave ships, man. Just be quiet.
What?
Don't say nothing. Just shut up and be quiet. You know nothing.
Hey, Deacon, these are Ivy League schools that black people are barely in.
Yeah. Your enemy know more about you than you. Let's continue.
Death of Captain Farah, the captain of the Amistad.
Whoa, that's a movie. Okay. The captain of the Amistad, death of Captain Farah, because these are Spaniards, of July 1839. Let's go on. Read.
You want to read that bottom part?
The bottom
of the paper?
No, read the
okay.
bottom.
Yes, death of Captain Farah, the captain of the Amistad, July 1839. Color lithograph from John Warner Barber, A History of the Amistad Captives. New Haven, Connecticut, E.L. Barber and J.W. Barber, 1840. Rebellions occurred whenever captives were on board ship.
Right. On board what?
On board ship.
Right. Obviously, if there were no slave ships in existence, what were they fighting on? The wind? Were they flying over the wind? Were they superheroes fighting each other? Was the Zod and Superman fighting over the slave ship? You guys, just go ahead, man. Go ahead.
and the Quantum by W.L. Walton. The crew, sheltered behind a barricade that spans the deck, are firing down on rebellious Africans. Several Africans are shown diving overboard. Many others are hidden in clouds of gun smoke. The image of the Amistad mutiny is a contemporary representation of the celebrated uprising. The Amistad was engaged in intra-American slave trafficking when the captives, led by Sinkay, overpowered the crew, killed the captain, and seized control of the vessel. It eventually reached the United States, where after a lengthy legal process, the captives were freed
and returned to Africa and was brought back home. So, the Amistad, this event that took place here was so famous that they made a movie out of it. And the lead actor of the movie, his name was Juman Hansuo. He's in a lot of movies. Get a picture of him real fast. Amistad movie images. I want you guys to see something really, really fast. Matter of fact, go to YouTube. Just type in Amistad Middle Passage Full Scene. Now, of course, I don't want to get blocked. I don't want to get banned like yesterday. Can't watch nothing, it seems like, anymore.
Nope. On
YouTube. So we're gonna just go to YouTube, go to Amistad Middle Passage Full Scene. I'll just play clips, bits and pieces here. I think it's a long scene. It's a full scene, so it's probably a long clip. So we'll just kind of get to the part that pisses me off the most. I'll just go through that for y'all. We could all get pissed off together as we watch it. But it's based upon true events or what happened, regarding what happened to our brothers and sisters on the boat. Yeah, press play. This is on the Amistad here. Press play. Come on. That's him at home. Hamites grabbing him up. We got Ham snatching us up. Knocked them out. They're going to drag them to the port. Remember, pause. Remember I showed you before, weeks ago, how our brothers had colonies along the coast, and that's how they were able to be conquered, because they were either being kidnapped or they were being attacked by rival groups, particularly Ham, and they gave them over to the Portuguese. In this instance, the Spaniards. So we continue to play. Fast forward. Move it up some. Let me see. Fast forward. Yep, right there. Stop right there. So they're selling them to the big ship. All right. Come on, fast forward some more. I can't show too much. I don't want to. Right here is good. Let me see. They're all chained to the ship. They're all chained down. Brothers and sisters are being chained down. Packed like sardines at the Arab slave ships. All right, go down. Fast forward some more. To get to the top of the deck. Let me see. Paul, right here. Go back. Right there. Someone giving birth to their babies on the ship. She died giving birth to a baby on the ship from the trauma. This is common. Common thing to happen. That's the mother right there, the sister. He's carrying her. He's going to throw her overboard. Her baby lives or she's gone. Talk about some damn Holocaust. There we go. They're beating him. Is this a myth too? Negroes, is this a myth too? She had a baby also. Got a chain on her neck right there. Now watch this. He sees her. She's sitting there on the deck, watching. She was like, nope. Baby, you're gone. Y'all want us to pretend this didn't happen? Pause. Y'all want us to pretend this didn't happen?
No way.
Y'all niggas make me sick, man. Y'all make me sick in your stupidity. Fast forward some. Wait. Keep going. Keep going. But wait, go back. You won't see this. Go back. Right there. Watch. See what they're doing? They all chained together and thrown overboard. Because the boat's too full. So they're throwing them overboard. Tied, chained together, dying. Pause. Now, because of this, the sharks in the water began to change their swimming pattern. Because they got food all the time. So the sharks themselves, it's proven that sharks begin to change their swimming patterns based upon the ship's routes because they knew far behind them ships they're going to get some food. Fresh black meat off the ships. Y'all want us to forget this shit? You niggas make me sick, man. Y'all piss me off with your stupidity, man. That's why I watch these things, to incite the anger. We need the anger. Racial anger is good. It's needed. It's necessary to push forward in this truth. It's necessary. To deny it is to deny self. Continue. Fast forward some. All right, I saw one. Give me type in slaves sing Yahweh song in Amistad. It's gonna show us on the boat where we're trying to make best of the situation. We start talking to each other, whatever. We're allowed in this movie. They were allowing us to have, I guess, a social time. Type in the slaves sing YHWH song in Amistad. You see it? All right, blow it up. Yes, that's what I want. Press play. Short. You can play the whole thing for this. This is short. Go ahead. Pause. Now you see what they're wearing? Their heads are wrapped. Now these could be brothers who will convert to Islam. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Brothers convert to Islam right here. Because remember I told you before, Islam made its way throughout Africa, and we decided to subscribe to it based upon enslavement or pretty much enslavement or by force. Okay, continue. Watch. Pause. Now they're singing Yahweh. That's the Mosaic Israelites there. They're following Moses there. That's it. You see, you got Mitri on the left. She got her. Now you see, she's kind of immodest there, but because we were double-minded, so you had like the Hamite customs of dress. Right. But to be honest with you, I don't believe that's how we even dressed there. To be honest, she probably real life, she's probably fully dressed. Anyway, she got a hair wrap on. She got a hair wrapped, and they're singing Yahweh. That's the Lord's name or title there. Okay, rewind to some. A little bit, right there. Man, go back. There might be Israel too. Go back. We'll never be Muslims at all. Go back. Me what they're saying. Try to hear what they're saying. Back, right there. Go ahead, press play. Keep going. There you go. Pause. Let's start having a conversation or whatever. So, that scene of them singing Yahweh. The writers of the movie are letting you know that they knew who they had on that ship. Okay? There's no reason to have the sisters singing Yahweh and clapping their hands to a song. There's no reason for that. They're letting people know Listen, we know who we have in that ship. And those who watch this movie, who are educated, are going to know, oh, okay, I read that in books. These are Israelites they had in the ship. Whether they were Islamic Israelites or Mosaic Israelites, they were all Israelites on this boat. There were no white folks in this boat other than the ones who were running the ship. All right? There were no Edomites on this boat. There were no Israelis on this boat. These were Jakes on this boat, Israelites on this boat. Y'all Negroes can say what the hell y'all want to say. We were always here. No, your ass is never here. You got dragged here on a boat.
Right.
Now your brothers are over here, yes. I won't deny that we weren't already here. We were already here. But a lot of you Negroes that were brought from Africa over here, y'all playing a dangerous game with that nonsense, man. Now, give me page 209, Atlas. Page 209 of the Atlas. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7, please. Why he's so mad? This is why I'm upset. Now watch that. Ecclesiastes 7:7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man
The
mad.
key word in that verse is wise. Oppression or scenes of oppression make a wise man upset, angry. A wise man mad. See, those who are unwise, that don't really bother you. You just tell yourself, it ain't real. It didn't really happen. That's a myth. A white man made that up. Let me ask y'all a question. Those of y'all believe this, he made it up for what? What was the end game of them saying that we brought you here on ships? By him lying about that, what was the outcome? What is the aftermath? Okay, let's say that the slave ships were a lie. They didn't exist. What was the outcome of saying that? Because he still got what he wanted in the end, right? Whether the ships were real or not, whether existent or non-existent, what would be the premise or the end game of lying about the ships? Like what? For what? To get the land? They got that regardless. So what? They lied about how they got us over here to what? To take the land? They did it anyway. So what's your point? I don't understand. When y'all come with these arguments about slave ships not being real and you were always here, you were still enslaved. And you still lost the land that you professed to have been yours since you were already here. So really, what is I'm just trying to, when you ask a nigga, because that's what I call you. When you ask a stupid nigga to make a logical explanation behind their doctrine, there is none. It's just deep, dumb shit that they say just to say it. Because it sounds, it's different. It's like exclusive. Ooh, brother, I got something to tell you. You know, slave ships that weren't real. It's something to grab attention, but when you really ask and dig deep into it, there really is no explanation. It's just rambling. It's babble. It doesn't make any sense. It's not biblical. Give me that scripture where it says the talk of the fools is without sense in Sirach. Where's that at? Ecclesiastes, it says the talk of a fool is without sense and irksome. You wonder, why are you so upset? People don't know. No, they know. They choose not to know. Read that, please.
Sirach chapter 27, verse 13. The discourse of fools is irksome.
The discourse of a fool is irksome. When someone irks you, they piss you off. It's irksome. Why you sound so stupid? Discourse is conversation. The discourse of a fool is irksome. Go ahead.
And their sport is in the wantonness of sin.
And their sport, their fun is in the lust of sin. Lustful, evil desire to break God's laws. Because you don't know, if you're not Israel, you have no obligations. You have no accountability. You have no responsibility. You can just do whatever the hell you want to do. Give me without sense. I want that. Without sense.
21:18.
Read that, please.
Sirach chapter 21, verse 18. As is a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool.
Read again.
As is a house that is destroyed.
As is a house that is destroyed. Go ahead.
So is wisdom to a fool.
The same way you see a house that's destroyed, it is sad, is wisdom to a fool. Go ahead. Is that it?
And the knowledge of the unwise
That's it. Go ahead.
is as talk without sense.
The knowledge of the unwise is a fool. The discourse of fools is irksome, and the knowledge of the unwise is without sense. It doesn't make any sense. There is no end game to lying about us being brought here in ships. Because if you're going to say, well, the reason why they say that we were brought over here in ships is to deny us the fact that we already had this land that belonged to us. That's what their argument is, but they still took the land anyway. So what was the purpose of lying about a ship to deny you land that they still deny you anyway? It doesn't make no sense. Without sense. Read this now.
Tombstone.
Now, so far, we've been touching on people who were, but we're going to go into it now. We're going to go into matter of fact, give me Deuteronomy 19. Here's what we're going to do. So far, we've showed articles and clippings and depictions of actual records of slave ships, slave ship rebellions, records of drawings and depictions of actual slave ships that were real. We went through all of that. Deuteronomy 19 and read verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity.
Come on.
Or for any sin, and any sin that he sinneth.
Come on.
At the mouth of two witnesses.
At the mouth of two witnesses or
at the mouth of three witnesses.
Or two or three. Go ahead.
Shall the matter be established.
Shall everything be established by the mouth of two or three witnesses. So, what I'm going to do today is present the witnesses. Since y'all denied there were slave ships, I'm going to pull out the records of people who were on the ships.
Bring it out.
Let's see what your argument will be then. Go ahead. Let's get witness number one. Go ahead.
Tombstone of Venture Smith.
Tombstone of a man named Venture Smith.
1805.
1805. You know what we were during 1805? We weren't free. 1805. Go ahead.
The great majority of African captives lived and died in obscurity. But some, like Venture Smith, succeeded in creating an identity in the historical record. Born Brutier Ferrer in Africa, enslaved as a child and taken from Anamabu on the Gold Coast in 1738.
Taken from the Gold Coast in 1738. Go ahead.
By the Rhode Island ship Charming Susanna.
By the Rhode Island ship. Called what?
Charming Susanna.
It was called Charming Susanna. You know how we know that's the name? Because he told people that was the name. Go ahead.
To Newport, Rhode Island. Venture Smith became successively the property of three American masters, from the last of whom, Oliver Smith, whose surname he adopted. He brought his freedom in 1765. Through industry and skill, he became a landowner and trader in Connecticut.
Wow. In Connecticut, go ahead.
Establishing a family dynasty that continues today.
He established a family dynasty that continues to this day.
To this day.
To this day. This brother was bought off of a ship, and he managed to do well for himself. Took the last name of his slave master, the last one that owned him, Oliver Smith. He became Venture Smith, had a family, bought his freedom, and built a dynasty. Continue.
He recounted his life in Africa.
He recounted his life in the Americas. He was already here.
He recounted his life in Africa.
He recounted his life in Africa before he was brought here on a ship. Go ahead.
And his journey through slavery and freedom in a narrative published in 1798.
In a narrative which I own, which I present today, that he owned when?
1798.
In 1798. Go ahead.
When Venture Smith died in 1805, he was buried in East Haddam, Connecticut. His is one of the very few gravestones of an African-born slave to survive in the Americas.
So that's his gravestone right there in the ground. You can take your stupid black ass down to Connecticut and look at the grave yourself since you're so stupid and dumb.
Let's read the tombstone.
Maybe your eyes will be smart in your... Go ahead, man. Just read the tombstone, man. Niggas, man. Niggas, I'm telling you, man. That's why the Messiah walked the earth. He didn't argue with white folks. He argued with stupid niggas like y'all. That's what he argued with the entire time he walked the earth. Because y'all are stupid on purpose. It's annoying. Go ahead.
Sacred.
I know it's early afternoon. I got to mind the language. I know kids are watching. I'm sorry. But I get really angry and passionate when ignorant things like this are disregarded and dismissed by black people. It's offensive to me. I don't like it. Because this stuff right here is solidifies what the Bible says. It solidifies who we are. When you deny your history, you deny your you deny your past. If you deny your past, you are doomed to repeat it. That's the problem. Go ahead.
Sacred in the memory of Venture Smith, an African, the son of a king.
What?
The son of a king.
This man was royalty. They brought royalty over here. And I'm pretty sure royalty of David. I'm pretty sure that's what he was. They brought David's sons here and they brought Jonathan's sons here. Go ahead.
He was kidnapped and sold as a slave. And hereby his industry, he acquired money to purchase his freedom. Who died September 1805 in 77 years of his age.
That's all. So, give me his narrative now. Let's read his narrative.
Oh, it says, but by his industry, he acquired money to.
But by his industry, right? He built the business, right? He was a smart brother.
Sorry.
It's all right. Get me the narrative of his life, Venture Smith. I want pages 10 through 12. He gives the account of what happened, how he managed it, how he went through 3 different slave masters. The last one being Oliver Smith, whose surname or last name he acquired and gave to himself, since he lost his original name. All right. Page 10. That's the book right there. Oh, yeah. Wait, y'all have it? Oh, I did bring it here. All praises. I did bring it here. All right. I did bring it here. All praises. All right. So that's the book right there. The narrative of the life and adventures of Venture Smith. Okay. It's a very small and thin book, but it's very informative. Get page 10. We're going to be page 10 to 12. Stop when we were.
We were then come to a place called Malagasco. When we entered the place, we could not see the least appearance of either houses or inhabitants. But upon stricter search found that instead of houses above ground, they had dens in the size of hillocks, contiguous to ponds and streams of water. In these we perceived they had all hid themselves, as I suppose they usually did upon such occasions. In order to compel them to surrender, the enemy contrived to smoke them out with faggots.
No, faggots here is not homosexuals. Faggots means bundle of sticks, or that's what it means, a bundle of sticks. Yeah. That's what it means. They lit sticks on fire. They created a fire. Faggots is a bundle of sticks, and a bunch of men lay together. They call it a bundle of penises or a bundle of sticks. That's where the word faggot comes from. That's what he's talking about when he says faggots here. Then then heathens took this. Well, it became a mockery. Anyway, go ahead, continue.
These they put to the entrance of
This is not homophobic writing here. He's just talking about sticks here. Go ahead.
This the original word.
This is the original words
meaning,
for a bundle
right.
of sticks. It's faggots, yes.
These they put to the entrance of the caves and set them on fire.
So they burned the faggots.
They burned the faggots, right. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. While they were engaged in this business, to their great surprise.
It's like a TOK Crew song. Anyway, go ahead. One of my favorite songs. Anyway, go ahead.
These they put to the entrance of the caves and set them on fire. While they were engaged in this business, to their great surprise, some of them were desperately wounded with arrows, which fell from above on them. This mystery they soon found out. They perceived that the enemy discharged these arrows through holes on the top of the dens directly into the air. Their weight brought them back.
Go down. To the point. Go to the invaders.
The invaders then pinioned the prisoners of all ages and sexes indiscriminately, took their flocks and all their effects, and moved on their way towards the sea. On the march, the prisoners were treated with clemency, on account of their being submissive and humble.
Go down to they then went on to the next district that was contiguous to the sea.
They then went on to the next district, which was contiguous to the sea. Contiguous to the sea, called in Africa. Mm-hmm. The enemy's provisions were then almost spent, as well as their strength. The inhabitants, knowing what conduct they had pursued and what were their present intentions.
He's explaining the events that led to him being put in the ship. Go ahead. That's why I'm reading this. Go ahead.
Improved the favorable opportunity, attacked them, and took enemy, prisoners, stocks, and all their effects. I was then taken a second time. All of us then put into the castle and kept for market.
They were put into a castle or the slave port. You have slave, like you have, for example, in Puerto Rico, they call it El Moro. That's a slave port built in Puerto Rico. You also have El Moro built in Cuba, a larger one. Those are slave markets. You have El Mina Castle. That was a slave port as well. They had one in Nigeria, one in Ghana. They had a few castles. We were sold out of those castles. They call it the door of, in Ghana, they call it the door of no return. El Mina Castle. That's what he was sold out of. That's why it says the castle. Go ahead. I was kept for market. Go ahead.
I was then taken a second time. All of us were then put into the castle and kept for market. On a certain time, I and other prisoners were put on board a canoe under our master and rowed away to a vessel belonging to Rhode Island.
Remember Amistad, the little canoe that brought them to the bigger ship? That's what I showed you that scene. That's what happened to him. Go ahead.
Commanded by Captain Collingwood and the mate Thomas Munford. While we were going to the vessel, our master told us all to appear to the best possible advantage for selves.
He went from one master to the next. Go ahead.
I was brought on board by one Robertson Munford.
He was brought on a slave ship on board. Go ahead. By Robert Mumford. Go ahead.
Steward of said vessel for 4 gallons of rum and a piece of calico, and called Venture.
So he was sold for 4 gallons of rum and a piece of calico, and his name was called Venture. Called Venture. Go ahead. Watch.
On account of his having purchased me with his own private venture.
Right. So he was named after, pretty much named Venture for this reason. Go ahead.
Thus, I came by my name.
That became his name. Go ahead.
All the slaves that were bought for that vessel's cargo were 260.
All the slaves in that boat were 260. Go ahead. By that time, we can count. Go ahead. What page is 12? Go ahead. Read the whole thing.
Containing an account of his life from the time of his leaving Africa to that of his becoming free. After all the business was ended on the coast of Africa, the ship sailed from thence to Barbados. After an ordinary passage, except great mortality by the smallpox, which broke out on board, we arrived at the island of Barbados. But when we reached it, there were found out of the 260 that sailed from Africa, not more than 200 alive.
So many died. Go ahead.
These were all sold, except myself and 3 more, to the planters.
Because he already had a master, so he wasn't sold like everybody else was. Go ahead.
The vessel then sailed for Rhode Island.
The vessel then sailed. What vessel? A slave ship. Then sailed for Rhode Island. Go ahead.
And arrived there after a comfortable passage. Here my master sent me to live and one of his sisters.
With one of his sisters.
With one of his sisters until he could carry me to Fisher's Island, the place of his residence. I had then completed my 8th year. After staying with his sister, some time was taken to any master's place to live. When we arrived at Narragansett, my master went ashore in order to return a part of the way by land, and gave me the charge of the keys of his trunks on board the vessel, and charged me not to deliver them up to anybody, not even to his father, without his orders. To his directions I promised faithfully to conform. When I arrived with my master's article at his house, my master's father asked me for his son's keys, as he wanted to see what his trunks contained. I told him that my master entrusted me with the care of them until he should return, and that I had given him my word to be faithful to the trust, and could not therefore give him or any other person the keys without my master's directions. He insisted that I should deliver to him the keys, threatening to punish me if I did not. But I let him know that he should not have them. But I let him know that he should not have them. Let him say what he would. He then laid aside trying to get them, but notwithstanding he appeared to give up trying to obtain them from me. Yet I mistrusted that he would take some time when I was off my guard, either in the daytime or at night, to get them. Therefore I slung them around my neck, and in the daytime concealed them in my bosom, and at night I always lay with them under me, that no person might take them from me without being apprised of it.
Give me Genesis 37 with Joseph. So he was entrusted as a slave with the master's possessions. This happened with Joseph. Genesis 37, 39, I think it is, 39. 39, and read verse 1.
Genesis chapter 39 and verse 1. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, brought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither.
Right, he was brought from the Arabs and brought to the Egyptians as a slave. Go ahead, as a slave, come on.
And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was prosperous, and he was a prosperous man. And he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian.
He was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. So Joseph had a master. He was a slave, like Venture was. Go ahead.
And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand.
Go ahead.
And Joseph found grace in his sight,
Venture found grace in his master's sight. Go ahead.
and he served him.
And Venture served his master. Gave him a name, Venture. Go ahead.
And he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had put into his hand.
He put his possessions into his hand. Same adventure. Go ahead.
And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not.
That's that adventure. Go ahead.
And he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and
Well favored. That's all I want. So Venture went through the same exact thing that Joseph went through, only he had an Egyptian master. Same exact thing. And what happened with Venture? He got so smart, he got his own business. He built a dynasty that's still around to this day. So now, is that all? Is that it on page 12?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's all I want. So Venture Smith was in fact a slave that was brought here, and he was royalty, just like Joseph was. A royal line, a righteous line, noble line. Give me the Atlas again, page 214. That's witness 1. Venture was 1. Venture Smith was 1. Page 214 of the next page on the Atlas. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. So you want to write that down, y'all. Venture Smith. You have a sister named Phyllis Wheatley. Go to a picture. Got a pen in her hand, a feather or a pen with the ink right there, and a book there. She became an author. All right, Phyllis Wheatley. Go down. Read that.
Phyllis Wheatley, 1753. Let me read it. Phyllis Wheatley, Negro servant to Mr. John Wheatley of Boston, 1773. Phyllis Wheatley, 1753, 1784, took her name from the slave ship Phyllis.
Took her name from what?
The slave ship Phyllis.
So her name, she was named after the ship that she was on. The slave ship Phyllis. Go ahead.
Which made 4 voyages to Africa.
Made 4 voyages to America.
Africa.
No, she was already here.
Africa.
Oh, okay.
On the
Africa, go ahead.
On the second of which voyage, ID 25481, she was forcibly taken as a child from Gambia to Boston.
She was forcibly taken as a child from Gambia to Boston, Massachusetts. Go ahead.
In Boston, she became servant to John Wheatley. Literary success allowed her to gain her freedom before.
So she gained success like Venture did. Go ahead.
Before the American Revolution. The first documented African-American poet.
She was a poet. Go ahead.
Wheatley, who styled herself Afric's muse, published her first book in London after being denied the opportunity to do so in Boston. To mark the event, she commissioned the African-American artist Scipio Moorhead to produce her portrait. She died in New England in 1784, aged around 30.
Damn, she died young, but she was taken from Gambia. Another a poet that was shipped from Gambia to Boston. All right, Phyllis Wheatley. That's witness number 2.
That's all made up.
That's all made up. Yeah,
All
that's
made
just
up.
there for fun.
They made up the name of the ship.
Yeah, her name. Yeah, she's just around. Just
Her place of origin.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened. Yeah. Get page 221. Let's get some more witnesses, shall we? Some of y'all may have watched a movie called 12 Years a Slave, written by Simon Northup. I think that's the first slave narrative. It was not the first slave narrative. It was one of many. This couple here, I refer to them as the whiter couple. Read that here.
Abachi, Clara Turner, and Cudjo Gazulo.
So Abachi is Clara Turner, that's her real name, and Cudjo Lewis, that's his name. Now Cudjo, all right, is pretty much a Benjamite. Pretty much Cudjo is pretty much is a name that Esau took that name and made it about a killer dog that kills white folks. Because the Maroons or Benjamin, they call the word Maroon, it means wild dog. So when Benjamin was destroying and killing Esau, they called us Maroons or wild dogs. And so that name you have, like for example, Nani and Cudjo in Jamaica. They're the Maroons. They were called Nani and Cudjo. So that name was common amongst us in Africa. So you had Abashi, and you had, that's how you pronounce the name, Abache or Abachi. And you had Abache, and you have Cudjo. Okay, we were from where they're from. We were there from. I'm sorry.
The last known U.S. slave ship. Let me read that again. The last known U.S. slave ship.
The what?
The last known U.S. slave ship.
Last known. It was one of many. But it's the last known. Go ahead.
To bring Africans as slaves across the Atlantic was the Clotilda.
Was the Clotilda. Go ahead.
Voyage ID. You can look up this voyage ID on the website.
Yep, you can.
36990. It landed in Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. That's the south. That's southern as it gets. Go ahead.
Shout out to Alabama.
Yep.
They
call it the Bama. Go ahead.
In 1860, with 110 Africans on board, they had been taken from Olaudah.
Taken from Judah. They were taken from Judah. Wida. Went over that last week. If you're confused, watch last week's class. I ain't going over it again. Wida is Judah. The kingdom of Wida or Judah. Go ahead.
On the Bight of Benin.
Benin is modern day Benin is Wida or Judah. Go ahead.
Among them were
the slave coast. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Among them were Cudjo and Abachi, otherwise known as Cudjo Lewis and Clara Turner, respectively, who, after being liberated in 1865,
they were freed during the Emancipation Proclamation. They were granted their freedom. Go ahead.
Joined other Clotilda survivors to establish Africa Town at Plateau, Alabama.
So, the survivors that were on the ship got together with this couple here, lovely couple here, and built a town called Africa Town in Plateau, Alabama. Go to that picture, please. Go to that picture real fast. That's them right there, live and well. Came off the ship. She got a long dress down to her knees. Sisters, what's wrong with y'all? Breast covered. No, you can't see no figure whatsoever, the sister. They're old, but she dressed this way, I'm pretty sure, all the time. Go back down.
And it says the last known ship.
Yes.
I mean, they know there was others, and you know why? Because in 1808, it became illegal to import slaves, and this was in 1860, meaning from 1808 when it became illegal, quote unquote, all the way to 1860, they were still bringing slaves
illegally
from Africa illegally, meaning they were trying to keep it on the low. So they're letting you know the last known slave ship that came through that we could document is in 1860, letting you know there was still a lot more ships that came through that weren't documented.
That passed under the radar.
Exactly.
So hold on, D. This is a book from an author. This is a book source. They putting this down, right? They the ones writing this information about him. Can we get the actual source from the man himself, his own personal mouth, what he said? Let's put that up real quick.
Wow.
This is so the census, I'm pretty sure y'all recognize what a census is, right? They still come to your house and take a census of where you from, who you are, and so forth, right?
No, we shouldn't. We were already here.
We already here, right? Watch this. This is a census from 1935. This is the man himself. You see his picture. You can look this up yourself. This is his picture up there. This is a census. They came to his house and took a census of who he was. Name, Cudjo Lewis. Wow. Sex, male. Age, 105.
He lived 105 years.
Right?
Whoa, go ahead.
Birth date, I was born 1830. Birthplace, I'm from Nigeria, Africa. Meaning he had to take a slave ship to come over here. Marital status, he was a widow at this time.
Yeah, she passed away first.
Race, colored. His father, male. Father's birthplace, Africa. Mother's birthplace, Africa. His spouse name was Celia Lewis. Okay. She died. Okay. And they took the census of him in 1935. And the event place was Africa Town, Mobile, Alabama. Event place, Plateau, Mobile, just like the book says. This is from his own mouth. That's all I have.
Go back to hold on to that image. Go back to my book again. They got a name, Clara. Go back to her and Clara. Go back to that again.
Oh, that's Celia.
They got the different wrong name, but it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. That tends to happen. Where it's a different name, but it's the same exact person. It's Clara Turner, not Celia Lewis, but it's the same exact person. If you go into the record, it's the same person. Because when I went into my records of my forefather, I decided to go into records. Well, me and Jez did the same. Did it together.
Right.
Jez did it. I did it after him. But I went back 7 generations, and my great grandfather's father, they didn't have no record of his mother, no record of anything because he was a slave. So basically, they just put down, yeah, a nigga existed, and that was it. But his son, the reason why I know he existed is because his son wrote down my dad, and he's from here, North Carolina. He was a bricklayer, yada, 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 but they were straight slaves. Right. But his son, around this 65 or so, was allowed to document his father, what he knew about his father. He put colored, also a Negro. Either he put colored or Negro. But when I found my grandmother, it was like either Eliza or Eliza that could wear. They would change. People spelling back then was kind of, it couldn't really spell good. So they wrote down whatever. Oh, your name is Celia, whatever.
Yeah,
but if you
numerator.
Yeah, so if you go back and fact check us, you can go and find the census of this man. You'll find his wife's name written properly, but you also find where it's written improperly, but it's the same exact person. Just in case I think, that's a different name, different spousal name. It's the same person. All right? Just don't put that out there. When it came to old school census, they didn't have computers back then where they could fact check you. They had to, they would just write it down. So just putting that out there.
And another thing, land back off your point, a lot of when you look at the census, a lot of it's written. The numerator, which was Esau, would come and they write in cursive. So it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Now they try to digitize these census now, and sometimes the computer will pick up that spelling or spell it however it think it's spelled.
Yeah.
So that's
like an AI thing.
Right.
Right. But her name was actually Clara Turner was her name. Or whatever, Celia, whatever. Either or, that's them there. Okay? We don't continue reading from there.
Want to read it again from the top?
This stuff among them were.
Among them were Cudjo and Abachi, otherwise known as Cudjo Kazula.
No, Abache and Cudjo. Go ahead.
Abache and Cudjo, otherwise known as Cudjo Kazula,
Cudjo
Lewis, and Clara Turner, respectively, who, after being liberated in 1865, joined other Clotilda survivors to establish Africa Town at Plateau, Alabama.
Go ahead.
There, they sought to rebuild the culture of their homeland.
Africa. Go ahead.
A bust of Cudjo still sits in front of the Union Missionary Baptist Church in Africa Town.
Where can we find records of this? Jump up to the first paragraph, because I've been here before. It's in Harlem. Go ahead. Lennox Ave on the east side of Harlem. The 2 train, or the 2 and the 1 train and 3 train stop there. Go ahead.
That's it.
No, read the top part. A photograph from.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, read that.
Photograph from Emma Langdon Roche. Historic Sketches of the South, 1914. General Research and Reference Divisions.
Watch.
Scumberg Center.
Nope. Schomburg.
Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture.
Now, the Schomburg Center is in Harlem. They have Malcolm X's Bible and his Quran encased in a glass display. You could see it. And the bullet casings that they took out of him, they have it beside that Bible and Quran. Schomburg was they say that his father was white and his mom was Ephraim, but I think he was all Ephraim. I think he was all us. But he had a strong desire and love for his people, and he gathered a lot of information about black roots and so forth. So I firmly believe he was us. I don't believe he was a Edomite at all. But his last name was Schomburg. And there's a place named after him called the Schomburg Museum in Harlem. So if you ever come to New York, you can go to the West 125th Street and Lennox Ave. I'm from New York. So if you're from there, the Schomburg Museum is actually found there. And he has like these different, there you go, right there. Yep, very nice place. If you go there, Schomburg Center, yes. If you go there, you'll find many different ancient artifacts and records of us being brought here in slave ships. And this couple here also. All right? So I went there. I had the pleasure of actually going there. I used to work at the YMCA down the block from this center here. The YMCA is my uncle was a director, and I was always granted a job there because my uncle pretty much ran the place. So I was pretty much like the boss, not the boss, but I had like a lot of benefits of working there because my uncle worked there and ran everything. So I was always able to go in there and visit and take pictures and things like that and spend time in that center because it was free to walk in. It's free. I think it was free at the time. I'm not sure if it's free now, but it was when I was young. You could walk in there and just schedule a time and it'll give you a tour. Well, nice place. When I was young in the world, I always had a strong desire and love of black history, even when I was in the world. So I see now why the Most High brought me in this, because that's a gift that the Most High has blessed me with to learn history and be able to teach it and acquire it and retain it and retain. Because somebody, how you retain things? I don't know. I'm able to retain things. I've always been that way. But that's the museum. That's the center there. But that just reminds me of how much of a desire. Now I realize seeing this here reminds me that, oh snap, when I was younger, I did love black history. I loved it. So that center is very good to go to. You can also go to Brooklyn. The last stop on the 6 train, the Brooklyn Bridge. They have a place called the African Burial Ground Exhibit, where they exhumed or they were digging and they found bodies of slaves buried not too far from the bridge, because they claimed that there were no slaves in New York, but of course that was debunked because they found slaves buried by the damn bridge. So they built the African Burial Ground Exhibit in that area, and they show like the skeletons and bones of our people are in that museum, and the children's bones are all warped and worn down because as soon as you can walk, you can work. So a lot of the children's bones, that's it right there. So a lot of the children's bones, I went there also. A lot of the children's bones and their muscles are all worn down to nothing because they worked them so hard. And that's how they found the conditions of the children and the adults in this museum here in the burial mounds. They were buried. It was like 100 bodies stacked like cards in the grave, like a mass graveyard. They found them, hundreds of them, hundreds of us. All right, so I'm going on break soon. Real quick, get me page 221. No, page 263.
Man, these niggas in the comments is straight up, stupid, man.
What they saying?
You can't make this
they're
up.
arguing it too?
Oh, yeah, he going in. What's his name? American Soul? American Soul.
Yo, zoom in.
Zoom in, American Soul. Debunk the book then.
Right. Just zoom in.
What's he saying?
Saying the Cudjo Lewis book been debunked. Show the slave ships y'all came on, you niggas came on. He's saying a bunch of stuff. Let me
point this out also for the ignorant. When slave ships, cargo ships initially were built for what they're called. They're called cargo ships. Prior to them shipping us over here and so forth, they weren't shipping Negroes over. They were using them to ship like barrels of rum, ivory, different resources. Those ships were used specifically to ship cargo from one place to the next. When they robbed Africa and so forth, but they were doing trade. They were using those ships specifically to move cargo all around. Then when they got a hold of the Negro from the coast of Africa, when they got a hold of them, that is the time when they started putting us on those ships because we became the cargo. Once the slavery was abolished and illegal, the ships that you're talking about were no longer used to ship us anymore. They returned to what they originally were, cargo ships. Cargo ships today, I'm going to debunk the nigga now.
Yeah, because he talking about show us the ships.
When you examine sex trafficking today, some of y'all may have not watched this movie. It's called Sound of Freedom. When you watch the movie Sound of Freedom, because our people even now in Africa and throughout the Americas are being shipped off, they will put our people, right now, to this day, you got Epstein, all of them involved in this sex trafficking stuff. Or Diddy's involved too, and many other people they're putting out there. During the sex trafficking thing, they will place, if you watch the movie Sound of Freedom, they will place the children in those, they call them those containers. What do they call them?
Containers.
The containers, the big metal containers. On those big ships that carry those containers, what are those ships called? Those are cargo ships. Those are modern cargo ships.
For import and export.
To import and export. They put the people who are trafficked on those ships the same way they trafficked us. Another example. Some will say, well, where the ship at? Well, I have a question for you. Where are the steamboats? Where are the steam engines at? Where are those at? I haven't seen any. Right. Because if you're going to argue about an old ship and you haven't seen any, when was the last time you saw a steamship or a steam train that's powered with coal? Where are those at? It's called revolution. They change over time. So this argument about, They never existed. My question, listen, if you believe that they never existed, my question is, by making that up, slave ships up, what was the end game? There is no end game. This is jail talk. This is jailbird talk. That's what it is. It's all jailbird. I said before, brothers go to jail, their butthole get this big, their brain get this small. It's a complete reaction. Read that. What's this next? Page 2, what? He can talk show you want in the audience if you want to.
Hey, call in, American Soul.
Read that. Muhammad, read that. Muhammad what?
Muhammad G. Bakwakwa.
What we're doing is we're presenting the people who are on the ships. All you have to do is pretty much just show us that they're liars. You had Cudjo and Clara. Mm-hmm. You had Phyllis Wheatley. You had Venture Smith. These people are making it clear they were on the ship. So either are people liars or wait a minute, which one is it? Play that there. Read that there. We're on a break after this.
Muhammad G. Bakwakwa, 1854. Enslaved in the interior of the Bight of Benin.
Whiter, another brother from Whiter. Go ahead.
Region in 1845. At the age of about 20, Muhammad Gordo Bakwakwa was deported to Pernambuco.
Oh, and by the way, the brother in the audience, do me a favor, watch last week's video with the Gullah, the Geechee, and explain to us where the term Geechee comes from and Gullah comes from, where that word comes from, and why they keep African customs. Because they're Gullah because they came from Angola. Gola and Gullah is the same. So if they're from Angola, how'd they get over here? They flew? They dug an underground tunnel and walked from Africa to America, came up like moles. They have mole powers. Read that.
Where he was sold to a baker, and then he was resold in Rio de Janeiro, where a ship's captain brought him. He escaped the latter's employed in New York City in 1847 and fled to Haiti before returning to New York to study. By 1854, he had moved to Chatham, Canada, where he finished his autobiography. His irrepressible search for freedom and his capacity to adapt culturally are evident in the story of his life. Following the publication of the autobiography, Bakwakwa moved to Britain, where he lived until at least 1857. What happened thereafter remains a mystery. In his autobiography, we read of his desire as a convert to Christianity to return to Africa as a missionary.
Right, another witness again. Muhammad G. Bakwakwa, I believe. So, 1854, so another witness again. So, Muhammad G., Cudjo and Clara, Phyllis Wheatley, Venture Smith. We're going to go down the line. We're going to go down the line of witnesses, man. Like I said, man, Negroes, man, jail. All right, so real quick, we're going to take a quick commercial break. The same way you Negroes take a commercial break in your brain, in your mind. We just Zoom call, or you can text us at 267-702-6121. That's 267-702-6121, or Zoom in. Once again, there's no reason to get rid of a ship. It doesn't make sense to get rid of a ship if you were using it before you had slaves. If they shipped us over here, and if they let's say they flew us here in planes, why throw the plane away? You just stop putting slaves on it. Just keep using the plane. If they brought us here in a train, why throw the train away? Just stop putting slaves in the train and keep using the train. That's all. They're not gonna throw a ship away because they stopped using slaves on them. Y'all just don't. That doesn't make sense. White folks don't think like niggas. They understand. They're not wasteful like how we've become through slavery. They're not wasteful like us. They're not gonna. Okay, we can't sell slaves anymore. Throw the ships in the garbage. Why? It was a cargo ship before they put us on it. They're gonna keep using it as a cargo ship. Show me the ship. I can't. Times have changed. Industrial Revolution came. I can't show you a steam engine. I can't show you a steamboat. So I'm gonna show you a ship. You guys are retarded, man. Y'all. That's why I mock you every week. I mock you. Come on next week so I can mock you again. Take a break. See y'all soon. We'll be right back in the next 5.
Multi-crack, baby, glitching.
In the world, they killing, they gotta see it, it's appealing. Yeah, you turn yourself into a villain, you trade a fight for a million. I got brothers scrapping for the kingdom. In my crown, we gon' get one, yeah. Whole city, we gon' get one. Whole palace, we gon' get one. Get our bitches back tenfold. Kingdom know that be the end goal. Big Bible, it be packed up. Got a precept, I got 10 more. Bring it back, know we taking over. Red Sea, know we passing over. Hate your brother in your heart, Christ come.
hold up the testimony. We set the standard in the earth. We confuse because y'all know we are fallen in slavery. You understand?
Cause I'd rather have more of the wheels so you don't gotta worry, spiritually poor. And it's bad when it feel like a chore. Unlike how you gonna open that door? And you think that you got enough work, you don't got enough, you need some more.
This book is for you and I. This book is for the children of Israel. This is our constitution. And it's not an all-inclusive book. It's an exclusive book for an exclusive.
IUIC, the perfect place to be. Leaving a legacy for the generations that succeed. A land to come together, to keep the Most High's feasts. Joining in solidarity, peace, and unity. Land Blitz, March 2025, Atlanta, Georgia. Register today. Shalom.
Shalom, shalom. My name is Officer Uriel. With me, Officer Josiah.
Soldier Abdiel. Soldier Eliezer.
Now we are here teaching to the National Sports Council Summer Camp. We're here to present our very, very first Youth Violence Conflict Resolution Seminar. We know that the answer to all our problems is thus said the Lord.
Hey, once again, sister. We're here, we're thankful for having you have us at your program. How was the program, what we presented to the young people? What is your views of it?
I'm thankful that you come, and I appreciate the efforts that you're making, because in our country, in our society today, this is something that we face daily, with problematic children and a lot of issues, a lot of problems at home, and no real morals per se in the home, so it's important that they get the guidance from somewhere, and I think what you're doing is great, and I hope that you can reach many, many more children. It's a pity that you didn't get to do more at the bigger camps, and hopefully next time, as you continue, we'll be able to organize. When I share the information with my superiors, and we can do more.
We're very happy that we was able to be here, have the opportunity even to start at one level and be able to take it to another level.
So Barbados, let us wake up. Let us strive to do God's work. May we continue to push, and may we understand as a people of Barbados that the only solution is the Most High way. That's the only way it's going to help solve the problems with our violence in our society. Yes. With that, we say, Shalom, Most High Christ bless.
One of the curses that befall us is that we'll be scattered throughout the four corners of the world. And once we get to those places, we're going to serve other gods, wood and stone.
Quelle église qui est venue sur la terre avec les quoi? L'église catholique. L'église catholique. L'église catholique, ce sont eux qui t'ont mis dans l'esclavage. This is a bus station, and they have the image right there to do what? As the people sat down and waiting for the bus, they keep looking at that image and keep their mind distorted. Combien de nouvelles lunes y a-t-il dans 50 jours? Il y a 7 nouvelles lunes. La nouvelle lune se fait 1 fois par mois. C'est confus, mon vieux.
The only reason we're in the conditions that we're in is because we broke God's laws.
We came to teach our people who they are according to the Bible.
He hates Esau, but the church said God loves everybody. The Bible says the contrary. Your church is lying.
Catholicism and Christianity is huge over here, and also assimilation.
In order for them to get their freedom, they have to agree to be French citizens. So in a sense, that's another form of slavery, and they're all the Israelites, and they must come back to the laws of.
Extreme oppression here, and lack of knowing their history. Revelation 18:4. We must come out of this system.
You Kanakas, another word for slave, another word for nigger. We must come back together
as the children of Israel.
This is the journey to the ends of the earth.
Came here to teach the word. And it's a good time too because the people here are actually protesting about the food prices that France imposed on them. They're still a colony till today. They're not free. Spiritually, we come to set the people free. Like it says in John 8:32, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. So that's our job, to go out in the four corners of the world and wake up the nation of Israel.
Violent upbringing. So violent upbringing is enough.
Back from the break. We were reading the comments and laughing. We see you guys in the audience just passing this guy around and slapping him. Everyone slapping him, taking a turn, slapping him in the face with stupidity.
Right.
It is what it is, man. He ain't the first. He ain't gonna be the last. These dudes is all. He said they debunked a couple that was on a ship. I guarantee if you would have asked this particular person on the audience where the first slave ships arrived or where they come from, they aren't gonna know where they came from. They ain't gonna know. He'll think Virginia or Africa first. Yep. What? The first slaves that arrived in America did not come here from Africa, just so you know. It's to kind of cut you in itself. You didn't know that, though. I know you didn't know. Most Negroes don't know anything. All right, so next witness. Let's see if they debunk this. Oh, give me Olaudah Equiano, please. Olaudah Equiano. Give me Deuteronomy 28 first. Deuteronomy 28. I got to open the scripture. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. American soil.
Deuteronomy.
Oh, God.
Chapter 28, verse 68. And the
Lord... You definitely American, that's for sure. Just go ahead.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Lord, we're going to bring you into bondage again with ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
By the way I'm saying unto you.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
You shall not see literal Egypt again, because this Egypt is a different Egypt. It's bondage. You shall see Egypt no more again as a nation. All 12 tribes never return to Egypt as a whole to serve slavery again. Go ahead.
And there,
by that way, that Egypt, go ahead.
Shall ye be sold?
You shall be sold, go ahead.
Unto your enemies.
Unto your enemies, go ahead.
For bondmen.
Bondmen.
And bondwomen.
And bondwomen.
And no man shall buy you.
And no man shall buy you. Can somebody debunk Amistad? Did they debunk that yet? Did they debunk Amistad yet? Because that's in her historical records. Did they debunk that too? Because that was made up also? What about the Libero-Americans? The ones that were, give me Libero-Americans real fast. Libero-Americans from Liberia, real quick. We're gonna go in. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna just keep dropping the damn hammer down. It's gonna just keep embarrassing y'all, man. Type in Libero-Americans. Britannica or Wikipedia don't matter to me. It's either or is gonna be bad for you. Americo-Liberian, yes, Americo-Liberian. That's fine. Same thing. Let's see what this goes into. Go down.
Sorry.
Up. What are we doing? Come on.
Americo-Liberian people, also known as Congo people.
No, Native American people.
Congo people.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Congo people are a Liberian ethnic group of African American, Afro-Caribbean, and liberated African origin.
Okay, go ahead.
Americo-Liberians trace their ancestry to free-born and formerly enslaved African Americans who immigrated in the 19th century to become the founders of the state of Liberia. They identify themselves as Americo-Liberians.
These are our people that came from the Congo that went back. Go ahead, continue.
Although the terms Americo-Liberian and Congo had distinct definitions in the 19th century, they are currently interchangeable and refer to an ethnic group composed of the descendants of the various free and ex-slave African Americans, Caribbean recaptive, and Sierra Leone Creoles who settled in Liberia from 1822.
They went back. They were allowed to return. The British brought them back. They were brought back there. How'd they get there, dumbass? Why y'all so stupid, man? Y'all dumb on purpose? Go ahead.
It was American Airlines at that time.
Yeah. They had JetBlue. JetBlue nigga. Go ahead.
The designation Congo for the Americo-Liberian population came into common usage when these African Americans integrated 5,000 liberated Africans called Congos, former slaves from the Congo Basin.
Watch.
Who were freed by British and Americans from slave ships.
After
the prohibition of the African slave trade. And 500 Barbadian immigrants into the Americo-Liberian identity.
So these people were returned back to Liberia. They were slaves brought over in ships. They were allowed to return back to Africa. Let's just get more, man. Let's just get more. What y'all got, man? Y'all go ahead, man. Have at it, man.
Yo.
What you got? The log book, man? We'll get to Olaudah soon.
Right. Hey, go to Wikipedia and go to slave ship Wanderer.
Somebody said we flew in on seagulls.
Yeah, we did. We flew in on storks. They carried us in their mouths, wrapped in blankets, and dropped us off with magical storks. And then we rubbed the lamp, the genie lamp, and we got wished here. Go ahead.
Put that up. Go down. I just want to get straight to the point here. Go down. Matter of fact, no. Let's start up top here. All right, Wanderer, slave ship. Wanderer was the penultimate documented ship to bring an illegal cargo of enslaved people from Africa to the United States, landing at Jekyll Island, Georgia on November 28th, 1858.
It was 2 years after emancipation. Go ahead.
It was the last to carry a large cargo, arriving with some 400 people. Clotilda, which transported 110 people from Dahomey.
From where?
From Dahomey,
Africa,
in 1860 is the last known ship to bring enslaved people from Africa to the U.S. Go down. Originally built in New York as a pleasure schooner, the Wanderer was purchased by Southern businessman Charles Augustus Lafayette Lamar and an investment group and used in a conspiracy to import kidnapped people illegally. The Atlantic slave trade had been prohibited under U.S. law since 1808. An estimated 409 enslaved people survived the voyage from the Kingdom of Congo.
That goes back to those Ibero-Americans earlier. They came from the same place, the Congo. Go ahead.
To Georgia. Reports of the smuggling outraged the North. The federal government prosecuted Lamar and other investors, the captain and crew in 1860, but failed to win a conviction. Now, go all the way down to the picture here. Blow that picture up. These men were on the ship. All right? So these are the men that were on that ship.
Three witnesses
on the slave ship. Now, the first brother right here, put your cursor on the first brother.
On the top left?
Right here. Yep, the brother right here. His name is Ward Lee. Right? Now, let's go to the logbooks. To go to the census again. Let's go to the census.
America so wants us to get a high-def 4K picture of the boat. Hey, I got an idea, guys. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go outside the school real quick. We're gonna hop in the DeLorean, and we're gonna use the flux capacitor, and we're gonna drive 85 miles an hour, go back in time, and then we're gonna bring a piece of the shit back and come back with Doc.
Right.
All right, and then we're gonna be here in the other DeLorean. You know, Back to the Future 4, featuring 4 niggas.
What the
Back to the Future 4, featuring 4 Negroes or 5. We're gonna all hop in the DeLorean together, Back to the Future, and bring the boat back. We'll take a picture real fast and then bring it back for y'all. See what happens.
Now, see the brothers down here. Wheatley, which is the first brother. You got Tucker Henderson and Romeo. Born in, I can't even say that, Salu Kwangi Pakaguata Taha. And it's the Congo River Basin, right? This is photographed 1908. These brothers was on the slave ship. Now, get me the log. Go to the Telegram real quick. Get me the census. Another brother from his own mouth. What he told the enumerator that came to his house. On the Telegram. It says Wheatley. It's just like the Cudjo. Come on.
I'm gonna buy a hoverboard too. Get a hoverboard, and fly, float around when I get there.
All right.
Take pictures.
So this is Wheatley. Name, Wheatley. Sex, male. Age, 35. Birth year, 1845. Birthplace, Africa. Birthplace, Africa. Marital status, he's married, black. Okay, father's birthplace, Africa. All right, mother's Africa. All right, he was, they took they came to his house in South Carolina, in Edgefield, South Carolina. From his own mouth, man. Meriwether, Edgefield, South Carolina. That's where he was sold to. They were sold to Edgefield, South Carolina. The shit was brought to Georgia, and they were sold to planters in Edgefield, in South Carolina, which like on the west side of South Carolina. But the whole point is he's from Africa, out his own mouth. All right? Off the slave ship Wonder. All right. I'm done, D.
What you got, obviously I can?
Hey, the first link I put up.
Y'all make this too easy, man. These are the conversations that Negroes have when they just got out in the barbershop.
Yeah, let's read that.
Yep. Act prohibiting importation of slaves. The Act prohibiting importation of slaves of 1807, all right, is a United States federal law that prohibited the importation of slaves into the United States. It took effect on January 1st, 1808, the earliest date permitted by the United States Constitution.
So you're telling me the United States, they had a meeting in the Congress, the Senate, and all this, and they put a law together to stop the importation of slaves into the United States, right? Read.
This legislation was promoted by President Thomas Jefferson, who called for its enactment in his 1806 State of the Union address. He and others had promoted the idea since the 1770s. It reflected the force of the general trend toward abolishing the international slave trade, which Virginia, followed by all the other states, had prohibited or restricted since then. South Carolina, however, had reopened its trade. Congress first regulated against the trade in the Slave Trade Act of 1794. The 1794 Act ended the legality of American ships participating in the trade. The 1807 law did not change that. It made all importation from abroad, even on foreign ships, a federal crime.
Mm-hmm. So it was a federal crime to bring slaves into America on ships in 1808 onwards. So why would they enact the law that they've been trying to enact since 1770 about importing slaves on ships into the Americas if those ships didn't exist? If that wasn't going on, that makes no sense. We finished the last paragraph right there.
The domestic slave trade within the United States was not affected by the 1807 law. Indeed, with the legal supply of imported slaves terminated, the domestic trade increased in importance. In addition, some smuggling of slaves persisted.
Still happening, like Matilda.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It was still going on. Now let's go to the next.
He said on mouth, give us the audio of him saying he's from Africa. You want the audio now. He's getting desperate, man. It's a straw man argument now. Give us the audio, man.
Next link.
Give us the audio of him saying he's from Africa. Give us the audio.
Go up.
Oh, you're getting pitiful, bro. Just stop
don't.
now. Just stop. Just stop, bro.
So now we have the document.
Oh, my gosh.
This is primary source of a warrant for a ship called Charming Sally.
Damn. He went and got a warrant?
Didn't we read this? Didn't we read Charming Sally earlier in the Atlas? It was called the Charming. What's it called? The Charming something?
No, it wasn't Sally.
It wasn't Sally? Okay.
Now go down.
My man went and got a warrant.
That's an actual warrant for a ship. What were they looking for? Why did they write a warrant for this ship? Read that over.
This warrant orders the marshal and deputies of the Massachusetts district to arrest and take into custody the ship Charming Sally and her appurtenances, equipment, and cargo. It notes that a libel was filed by Isaac Sherman of Boston. A libel is an accusation brought against someone or something, claiming property ought to be seized. In this case, the ship and its cargo for transportation of slaves contrary to law.
So there was a warrant put out. So I guess this warrant was put out for a ship that didn't exist. A marshal was looking for a ship that didn't exist. The judge signed the warrant.
Right.
The people that went after to seize the cargo, the guy that complained about seizing the cargo, Isaac Sherman of Boston, and the people were just floating on top of the water with no ship.
Yes, a raft.
He's talking about show me a blueprint of slave ship. Hey, get those blueprints, those drawings that
we showed them last week.
Yeah.
We're going to show them again. All right, you want to show them again? Okay.
We're going to show you the
Give
blueprint.
me Proverbs 26, verse 4. This is what we're going to do, man. We're not going to make this an all-day thing, bro, because you're just stupid. Or you pretend to be stupid. I think you're smart. You just pretend to be stupid. Or you're really, really stupid, and you just don't really sound smart.
Just like you said, the words of the unwise is without
words of the
sense.
unwise is without sense, bro. Proverbs 26 and verse 4.
Proverbs chapter 26, verse 4.
What we're going to do is we're going to use you for a teaching moment. We're going to use you for today as a teaching moment, man, for everybody for listening. That's why we teach. This is the reason why, ladies and gentlemen in the audience and who are watching, this is why we do this. Because people like this exist, and you have to know how to deal with them. Now he's asking for audio of the person saying it from Africa. They in a sense, they wrote down, they told the writer, I'm from Africa, but now they want us to go and go back in time in the time machine, give him a mic, and then record what he said he's from Africa. Okay, read that.
Answer not a fool according to his folly.
Go ahead.
Lest thou also be like unto him.
After a while, you got dismissed dudes, because they bugged out their mind. Get Titus 3. The Titus 3 and verse 9. No. I don't want that. Hold on. Let me go back. What did I want from there? I didn't want Titus 3. That's good too, but I don't want that. Give me a minute. Let me see. 2 Timothy 2. 2 Timothy 2 and 23.
Yes, sir. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 23.
That's what this is.
But foolish and unlearned questions avoid.
That's dumb. Show me the audio. That's the foolish and unlearned questions that says avoid. Go ahead.
Knowing that they do gender stripes.
That's what happened. That's what's going on. They do gender stripes. You're gonna argue this to argue. What you got? Let's go. What do you have?
Who that?
What do we have? What do we have after that?
Oh, you got something? Yeah, get the blueprint. Get the blueprint for this.
Blueprint. That's all. Blueprint. I was trying to remember.
They saying no drawings. Like, I don't know what this.
Yeah, get the blueprint, please. The depiction of the slave print. Oh gosh, I don't know. There we go.
There you go.
God.
Go back.
Load up, man.
Description of a slave ship. Hey, look at your blueprint.
It's in the Atlas, though. Go to the Atlas. I have it in the Atlas, too, I think. Go to, hold on. I'll go on my notes. Hold on.
Hey, if I may, that's a well-known slave ship, too. That's a slave ship called the Brooks. You can look it up on Wikipedia.
Or Britannica. They'll say Wikipedia is our source. Britannica also. Oh, hold on a second. Description. Give me page 164 of the slave ship. Page 164 of the Atlas.
Oh, D, we gotta go back to this. This joint got the dimensions, the size.
Oh, okay, go back.
How many was on the
ship?
This is what he want.
He's saying drawing ain't evidence.
He just.
We got time for that. It's a teaching
I'm
moment.
telling you,
It's a teaching moment.
It's
It's just a teaching moment.
Read that.
Go blow that up.
Blow it up, man. This is teach.
Go to the bottom.
Just teach. It's just gonna teach, bro.
That top part, right?
Now he's saying the Bible's fake.
I I know.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
So African Americans.
Right.
African Americans are fake too. And
Your dad's fake.
Yeah. Is your dad real? How you know you?
How you know he's real, man? Did your mom?
Why? Because he signed his name on the birth certificate.
Did you see him? Have you seen him? That's the most black. Anyway,
go down. It's a little pixelated, but go down. Go up. The plan and sections. Let me read it.
This is Dasper, turmoil officer. Damn. Go ahead.
Let me see something.
The plan.
Yeah, the plan
and sections. Annexed exhibit a slave ship with the slaves stowed.
In order to give a representation of the trade against which no complaint of exaggeration could be brought by those concerned in it. The Brooks
is here described.
A ship well known in the trades, and the first mentioned in the report delivered to the House of Commons last year by Captain Perry, who was sent to Liverpool by government to take the dimensions of the ships employed in the African slave trade from that port.
Wow. These plans
and sections are on a scale of the 1/8 of an inch to a foot. And then it goes into it.
Dimensions of the ship.
Length of the lower deck, gratings, bulkheads included at
depth
AA.
of hull, hold. You can read all of that. Go down. You can read all of that. Go down. What's it there?
Says the number of slaves which this vessel actually carried appears from the accounts given to Captain Perry by the slave merchants themselves as follows. Men 351, women 127, boys 90, girls 41. Total 609.
609 on the boat. That boat looked massive in the picture. Let's go out, man.
That's crazy.
Let's go back to Olaudah. Equiano. Can't make this up, bro. You can't make it up.
Somebody said, isn't a blueprint a drawing?
Yes, it is.
That's what it is.
A blueprint's
That's
a drawing.
what we gave him.
He asked for a drawing. We gave you one. Now it's fake. I don't know, man.
Y'all crazy.
Unlearn the foolish questions avoid, man. Knowing the due gender stripes.
I don't get it, man. He's saying
I do. I get it. He's stupid. Read that. The life. Read that.
The interesting narrative of the life of Olaudah Equiano, or Gustavus Vasa, the African written by himself. Next page, 1794.
And just to help you, we were put on Roman slave ships also, by the way.
Doesn't matter.
Just to help you out. Doesn't matter who owned the ship.
What kind of ship was it?
Doesn't matter what kind of ship it was, because the Israelites will put on ships of Rome also, Roman slave ships too, and Greek slave ships. We will put on all the slave ships. So I'm not sure what you're talking about
Arab
that for.
slave ships,
Arab slave ships
Indian
called
slave
dhows,
ships.
Indian slave ships. We're going to go into all that. I guarantee he has no knowledge of the trans-Pacific slave trade. I bet he don't know about that at all. I bet he's clueless. He's arguing the Atlantic Ocean slave trade, but I guarantee he has no knowledge of the trans-Pacific slave trade that we're going to go into after this on the other side of the world. How we got to Japan, how we were shipped to China, how we were shipped to Iran. That stuff he don't know. He arguing the Atlantic. You arguing half of the puzzle, brother, or whatever the hell you are, sister, whatever. Go ahead.
Hey, but Deke, even the domestic slave trade, when the law was prohibited to bring us from Africa, they were still putting us on slave ships from Virginia to Louisiana.
Yeah, and from Madagascar all the way to the other part. That was legalized. That's what the British were doing, were catching the slave ships. I read that earlier. How the British were stopping the Arab slave ships from crossing the Pacific Ocean because they were doing illegal slave trade over there. Because Britain abolished slavery earlier than American whites did. So you had slave ships called dhows. Yep. Where are the dhows at? Those existed. How did blacks get bought the China as slaves from East Africa to China? How'd they get over there? They flew. You had Arab slave ships called dhows who were put in the exact same conditions as we were in the European slave ships. So how do you account for that, sir? What about the Arab slave ships, the dhows, DHOWs? What about those? Do you ignore those too? Come on, brother. Stop. Okay, what we got here? It's sad, man. You don't even know what he's talking about.
Today, the interesting narrative of Olaudah Equiano is celebrated as foundational text in the American slave narrative genre. African-American literary critics and historians have claimed Equiano as an important precursor of this powerful American literary tradition. It does not matter that he served only a short season on an American plantation and chose to live most of his life in Great Britain, or even that he was nominally a British subject. For most of his century, the 13 North American colonies that became the United States were an integral part of the British Empire in the Western Hemisphere, closely linked to sister colonies in the West Indies, Central America, and Canada. Furthermore, national identities and distinctions between Britishness and Americanness were not well established in the late 18th century. Indeed, for many black people, then and now, national distinctions between African Americans and Afro-Britons master less than the common experiences of displacement, enslavement, emancipation, and racism shared by the African peoples throughout the diaspora. By his own account, Olaudah Equiano was born in about 1745 in what is now eastern Nigeria.
His own account.
He was.
Next one.
He was.
Page 22. That's 21 there. XXII should be the next page. 22.
All right.
He was. Come on. Drums, please.
Do y'all have it? They don't say nothing, man. Manny, what's over here? Manny Fresh. Help us out, man. What's going on?
They working on it.
Yeah?
They working on it.
In silence?
we talking to them. They start saying nothing.
If we stay quiet, they'll ask for a different page. Come on, y'all. I gave that a book a second time. It should have all of that. XXII.
Man, can you tell them they could talk?
They over there
We got a
scrambling.
text now, opening from the same stupid ass dude we were talking to earlier. What's the text? We'll read it in the meantime.
We have a text?
Yes, we do. What's it say there?
Nice. What the? This guy.
Blow it up. Read it, Officer Man.
Were there more slave ship revolts, and were they ever recorded as?
Oh, you need glasses?
Yeah,
or...
I do need glasses.
Were there more slave ship
Were there more
revolts?
slave ship revolts, or were they ever recorded as often or not?
I don't think so. I would doubt it because it would inspire the other slaves. They're not going to record all of it. The one that took place in Amistad was a bit later in time. I said they were given their freedom. What's the next one?
And all praises for bringing this out and slapping the scoffers around with this truth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. More praises. Who is there a name or no? I can't say ma'am or sir. Well, all praises regardless who it is. Next one. He was the youngest.
I'm sorry.
I said he was the youngest.
He was the youngest of 7 children in a family of high social standing among the Ndibo ethnic group. When he was 10 years old, Equiano and his sister were kidnapped while playing outside the walls of their family compound. He was soon
outside the walls, because we had walled villages. We had walls. We had walls outside the walls. Go ahead.
He was soon separated from his sister, transported hundreds of miles to the West African coast, and taken as cargo aboard a slave ship bound for the island of Barbados in the West Indies, then on to North America.
Come on.
After a short term on a Virginia plantation, Equiano was sold to an officer of the British Royal Navy named Michael Henry Paschal, who changed Equiano's name to Gustavus Vasa in honor of a 16th century Swedish king and freedom fighter. Equiano used the name Gustavus Vasa or Vasa in most of his activities and travels throughout his life. As Paschal's personal servant, Equiano traveled extensively with his master around the Atlantic littoral, the region along shoreline in Europe and the Americas. Although we typically think of the Africans of the 18th century diaspora as being bound to American agriculture plantations, it is important to recognize that from the 16th century onward, blacks traveled extensively around the Atlantic littoral as participants in important military and commercial endeavors and in revolutionary political movements.
You were always around. Go ahead.
Some joined the crews of pirate ships. Others were impressed or forcibly recruited into...
It might end there.
Into naval service.
Okay, got more. Go ahead.
During the 7 Years' War or the American Revolution.
All right, jump that, skip that, go to page 25, XXV. Wait. Read his fellow sailors taught Equiano.
His fellow sailors taught Equiano to read and write.
So he can read and write. So he wrote his narrative. That's why I want to read that part. He wrote his narrative. Go ahead.
And schooled him in basic principles of arithmetic.
Go ahead.
These skills were key to his success. In most places, it was illegal to teach a slave to read or write.
But he managed to learn how to read and write. Now jump to page 25 now. This is another witness. Jeez. Equiano witnessed scenes of horrific. Start from there.
Equiano witnessed scenes of horrific cruelty and slave torture, which he remembers with outrage in his narrative.
Because he was there. Go ahead.
His time in the West Indies ended when he earned enough money to purchase his freedom in July 1766.
Like Venture, he was very smart and successful and bought his freedom. Go ahead.
Free blacks in the 18th century occupied a position of tremendous social, political, and economic vulnerability. As nominally free individuals in a society that tended to view all blacks as legally subordinate, free black men and women were required to regard their freedoms vigilantly against a host of potential oppressors, from unruly street mobs to unscrupulous employers. In the Americas, legal codes designed to prevent slave rebellions through the restriction of travel, trade, work, recreation, and literacy were imposed indiscriminately on both free and enslaved blacks. Free blacks were particularly vulnerable to being kidnapped and sold back into slavery.
The only slaves are Slav from Europe. Stop stealing their stuff and show the evidence of that slave that you came on. Oh, that's the agenda. That's the agenda. You eat them. Or you're a coon. That's the agenda is to point out that the only slaves that were brought on ships was Europeans. And blacks were already here. Oh, I see you on that, what do they call that thing?
Racial idolatry.
No, not that. No, what's they call it? Cultural race, something they do it in school. Forgot what they call it. Audience knows. They're trying to put that in school. Something cultural. Critical race theory. Yeah, critical race theory. That's what they're doing. They're trying to warp and distort how we got over here. See, that's what they're doing. That's what's happening. There are no slave ships. I see you part of them. You part of them dudes. You probably one of them sitting in them councils. Oh, I see. You on here exposing the secrets. That's your little plan now to say that we never go out here in a ship so you can take all the white guilt off yourselves? That's what y'all trying to do? Now I understand. Now I get it. Give me Deuteronomy 33 real fast and 20 and 29. That's what you're doing. You are eat them. I thought you was a dumb nigga, but all praise the Lord, you eat them. Which is just as well, y'all made dumb niggas, so I can't even get mad at you. Y'all made them. Y'all created them in a lab. So pretty much what's being said here is that black people pretty much stole the history of being brought in ships from European slaves, which were Slavs, where the word slave comes from, and we were always here. We never were brought here in ships because that takes away or exonerates the white guilt that Edomites have for bringing us over here in the first place. So what they do is to take away the guilt and evil that they've done to us that we saw in the video earlier, they're going to now try to push the narrative that we were always here and never were put on here in ships to remove the evil and cruelty of his race. Now I see what you guys are trying to do.
Stop it.
Because that right there would disprove the Bible, which he also said, I believe, is a fake book as well. So now it's all coming full circle. See, what's happening, American soil, is you came into the wrong room. This is not Charlemagne the God. I'm not Breakfast Club. I know the Bible, and I know history very well. And we read books written by your ancestors, and they record the history of bringing us here in ships while we was in chains. So I don't know why they write books to each other about lying about a boat. They had us a chain, so that makes no sense. And passing laws in their government about prohibiting slavery in ships makes no sense. Read that real quick.
Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 29. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency.
Come on.
And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you're seeing today. Your enemies shall be found liars unto thee. They shall be found liars unto thee. Go ahead.
And thou shalt tread upon their high places.
And in due time, we're going to destroy you like we're doing now. Spiritually. Eventually, physically in the kingdom. Now, give me 2 Maccabees 15 and 10.
2 Maccabees chapter 15, verse 10.
I think that's it. Yeah.
And when he had stirred up their minds,
that's what we're doing today.
He gave them their charge, showing them therewithal the falsehood of the heathen.
That's what we're doing today. We're showing you the falsehood of the. That's what we're going to use you for a talking point. We're showing the falsehood of the heathen. Go ahead.
And the breach of oaths.
Because we all know when it came to the Native Americans, the white man broke every single treaty he made with them on this side of the world. Every single one. So they're natural born liars. Give me that one as soon as they're born. Was it Psalms? If he's mad now, wait till we get to King James. He's going to be even more upset. We get to them Dark Ages history about the black dominions, you're going to be even more upset.
I think it's Psalm 55 or Psalm 58.
No, it's Psalm 64, I think it is. Found they're born liars as soon as they come out the damn womb. I think it's Psalm 64 in the beginning.
Psalm 64?
I could be wrong. Hold on. As soon as they be born on... It ain't 55.
Yeah.
As soon as it's liars. Just type look for liars. You'll find it in the Psalms.
I think it said the wicked is astray from the womb.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Where's it at?
Is astray from the womb.
Strange from the womb. Where's it at? Oh, it's in Psalms.
You have it? You looked it up? The wicked is estranged.
Just type in estranged.
Psalms
58.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking 58. Yeah, read that.
Psalm 58, verse 3.
Yeah, that's it.
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Watch this.
They go astray as soon as they be born.
They go away from God as soon as they're born because they ain't in them to keep God's laws. Go ahead.
Speaking lies.
They're born liars. Natural, born, systemic liars. Manipulators. Siberian Americans. You don't know any Native Americans, bro. I do know him. I had a Native American come here yesterday. He came here yesterday. He came from the Maidu tribe. Both his father and mother are the Maidu tribe found in California. We have Native Americans among us, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. They're in our congregation. He looks very much Native American. He came here and visited yesterday. What the irony he'd say that in a Northern American Indian, came and visited us just yesterday in the part of our congregation. We have many Native Americans in our congregation, Seminole and Cherokee alike. You don't know what you're talking about. You're in the wrong room, sir. This is not Hot 97. This is not Breakfast Club. You're in the room of education. You don't get taught today. I'm going to use you as a teaching lesson today. Go to page 25 now. We have Native Americans in our congregation.
It's page 25, D.
Yeah, 25 is what I want. 25, read that.
Amiss. Go up top. I don't think I read it. Yeah, I read that. Down to the amiss.
Amiss, yeah, that's where you're at.
Amidst these difficult circumstances, Equiano arrived in London in 1767 as a free man. He made his living during the next decade chiefly as a personal servant to captains of merchant ships, in which capacity he traveled extensively throughout the Mediterranean and the Caribbean, and even joined a 1773 expedition to the North Pole. In 1775, Equiano was hired by Dr. Charles Irvin to help establish a plantation on the Mosquito Coast of Nicaragua. His responsibilities included the purchase and supervision of slaves. On several occasions, Equiano was himself nearly kidnapped or taken into slavery by predatory associates.
Other whites are stolen from other whites. Go ahead.
Convinced that remaining in Central America and the West Indies would surely jeopardize his freedom, Equiano returned to England in January 1777. Back in London, Equiano embarked upon a new career as a public advocate for the welfare of his fellow Africans and Afro-Britons
who were sold as slaves. Now let's jump out of this. Go to, wait, let me see something. Hold on a second. Read, Equiano was drawn toward a more political form. Read that.
Equiano was drawn toward a more political form of activism by the slave ship Zong tragedy. In December 1781, the captain of this overcrowded and disease-infested British slave ship ordered that 133 living African slaves be cast overboard into the Atlantic in order to cash in on the cargo's insurance policy.
Run by Israelis. You Jewish people. That was y'all. Y'all were over the British company. The British companies. It might be you, Americans, so that might be you. Go ahead.
Insurance provided restitution for slaves killed to prevent or punish rebellion, but not for slaves lost to disease.
That's all I want. Let's go to next page. XXVI, so 27. This is 27, right? 27 already?
Yeah.
We read 28. Let me see. I'm going to waste my time. Go ahead.
In 1786, Equiano joined the Committee for the Relief of the Black Poor.
Go down. Let me see. Go down. I don't think I need all of this. So I probably thought I would have more time to read all of this. Supposed to. All right, go to 36. XXXVI. Yeah. Okay, that's you got a picture right here. Phyllis Wheatley. We read her earlier. This is in his narrative. He knew about her. Okay, Phyllis Wheatley, a poet. Okay, he mentioned her here in this book. Because she was like him, she was taken on a ship and brought from Africa, brought over here, like he was. Okay, she spent time in London as well, like he did. So he might have came across her. Who knows? Go to the next. Give me the next one. Next page over. Read that there.
Perhaps.
Here you go. That's it. Go ahead.
Perhaps the best-known black writer of the 18th century is the poet Phyllis Wheatley, 1756 to 84. Kidnapped as a child from her native Gambia, this young West African girl came to America on a slave ship Phyllis.
On a slave ship Phyllis, go ahead.
For which she was named and was purchased in July 1761 by the influential Wheatley family of Boston.
That's all I want. Go down to XL. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, right there. Here we go. This we get the underline part. It's just us getting good.
Black writers challenged these commonplace beliefs indirectly by composing narratives that demonstrated that African-descended peoples were capable of Christianization and salvation, and more directly by challenging white interpretations of Scripture.
So what Olaudah was doing was, Equiano was doing was, he would start to challenge the interpretations that white folks have for blacks, and it came to the Bible, that we're children of Cain, that we're Hamites who are destined for slavery, and because we're barbaric and we're predestined to learn Christianity to give us a sense of morality and civilization. He was teaching against this. Watch. Read on.
Olaudah Equiano contested the racist interpretations of biblical genealogy
of us being Hamites. Go ahead.
By suggesting that West African peoples were descended from ancient Israel.
How do you know that? How do you know that? Go ahead.
And that they shared as members of the diaspora and Jewish destiny as a chosen people.
As a chosen people. How do you come to that? Go to page, go down. Where we at now? XLI or XL? Where we at? Okay, go to page 18. Page 18. So this brother understood that he was a child of Israel. Israelite. Page 18, that's 19. You got page 18? There we go. Blow it up. All right, and let's go end. As we are acquainted with idleness.
And as we are acquainted with idleness, we have no beggars.
We have no beggars. Go ahead.
The benefits of such a mode of living are obvious.
This is his account of how he lived while we were in Africa. At this time before he was snatched up. He's talking about his life when in Africa before he was snatched up. Go ahead. He was snatched up, and he was placed on a magic carpet, and they flew him over here and with Aladdin. And the monkey and his monkey, Apu. Go ahead.
What? The West India planters preferred the slaves of Benin or Igbo to those of any other part of Guinea.
The West India planters preferred. Why they prefer? Because they knew who they were taking. You went over this last week. They were very, very understandable as to who they were taking and from where. Their main preference was the Benin or Igbo, because Igbo goes back to Hebrews, goes back to Israelites. Benin goes back to Wida, which is the kingdom of Judah. Go ahead.
For their hardiness, intelligence, integrity, and zeal.
So because of our wisdom, because of our toughness, intelligence, and our integrity, and our zeal. Go ahead.
Those benefits are felt by us in the general healthiness of the people, and in their vigor and activity. I might have added, too, in their comeliness.
Yeah, I can tell it's Edomite. He keeps saying bro. Definitely Edom. None of these books have been debunked. Not one. Olaudah Equiano was a very valid source that was written hundreds of years ago, maybe 300, 400 years ago. There's no book that came along debunking this. That's how I know it's Edom, because Edom will say things, and they say it in certainty, because they're so accustomed to Negroes taking their word face value that they just say it and go, yeah, I said it, so it's true. Right. No, we're not the guy. We aren't those guys. We don't listen to y'all.
This is war!
We don't care what you think. In this room, you nations, including yourself, you're nothing to us. We don't care for you. We don't care about you or what you think at all. So saying something's been debunked and you can't prove it's been debunked is a waste of our time and yours. Just stay in the room and be quiet.
He thinks if he keeps repeating the lie that we're going to believe it.
The Jedi mind trick.
He knows that psychology. He keeps
that
doing
psychology doesn't work here. That psychological tactic doesn't work in this room. When you keep saying it over and over again, it makes it true. That's called projection. You're trying to convince yourself of what we're saying isn't true. We know what we're saying is true. We don't care what you think. You've lied to us y'all lied to us long enough. Continue. Those benefits. The deformity. Go ahead.
Deformity is indeed unknown amongst us. I mean that of shape. Numbers of the natives of Igbo, now in London, might be brought in support of this assertion. For in regard to complexion, ideas of beauty are highly relative. I remember while in Africa to have seen 3 Negro children who were tawny and another quite white.
Because our people fled from Spain and Portugal into that land, they had their mothers as Edom. A lot of them. Go ahead.
Who are universally regarded by myself and the natives in general as far as related to their complexions as deformed.
So our people, when we came across our people who are light, very light skinned, they said that's deformity. Because being Edom, that albino look you got Edomites have, your pale skin, that's a deformity. It's not normal. All nations on the earth, on this earth that exists today, have a record of being dark and very black, except you white folks. Except Europeans. Y'all have no record of history ever being dark, ever. That's why God made a devil. He made a nation particularly to stand out so we'll all know who the devil is. Because only people that have blood show through their skin is y'all. No other nation has that unless they mix with you. So, and this is not a racial thing. This is a fact. If you go into history, you examine the Asians or the Arabs, the Iranians, Hawaiians, all nations at one point in time have a history of being extremely dark or black except Europeans. Because God made it God made it so. Go ahead. And that's considered a deformity by people who are of darker hue. They called you guys red or deformed. Oyimbo. Or another word they call Mazungu. Call you that too. Go ahead.
Our women too were, in my eyes at least, uncommonly graceful, alert, and modest to a degree of bashfulness.
Modest and bashful. That's how women used to be. Go ahead.
Nor do I remember to have ever heard of an instance of incontinence among them before marriage.
Damn. Wow. He didn't hardly hear about no boyfriends and girlfriends before they got married in this culture. Hardly ever did I hear about them going out here sleeping around hoeing. Hardly. It happened, but rarely, he said among his time. Rarely. Go ahead.
They are also remarkably cheerful.
Very happy.
Indeed, cheerfulness and affability are 2 of the leading characteristics of our nation.
Go ahead.
Our tillage is exercised in a large plain or common. Some hours walk from our dwellings, and all the neighbors resort thither in a body. They use no beast of husbandry, and their only instruments are hoes, axes, shovels, and beaks, or pointed iron to dig with. Sometimes we are visited by locusts, which come in large clouds, so as to darken the air and destroy our harvest.
Yes, the locusts will come eat our crops. Go ahead.
This, however, happens rarely, but when it does, a famine is produced by it.
Damn.
I remember an instance or 2 wherein this happened. This common is oftentimes the theater of war, and therefore when our people go out to till their land, they not only go in a body, but generally take their arms with them for fear of surprise. And when they apprehend an invasion, they guard the avenues to their dwellings by driving sticks into the ground, which are so sharp at one end as to pierce the foot, and are generally dipped in poison.
Damn.
From what I can recollect of these battles, they appear to have been eruptions of one little state or district on the other.
So he's going into we would secure our land, from intruders or enemies. Such a mode of obtaining slaves. Read that.
Such a mode of obtaining slaves in Africa is common, and I believe more are procured this way and by kidnapping than any other.
They were kidnapped. That's him kidnapping us. Go ahead.
When a trader wants slaves, he applies to a chief for them and tempts him with his wares. It is not extraordinary if on this occasion he yields to the temptation with as little firmness and accepts the price of his fellow creatures' liberty with as little reluctance as the enlightened merchant.
Next page. Go to page 22. This book was the 18. Was it 18 you read earlier? Okay, go to page 22. The spoils slain in battle, her arm was exposed in the marketplace, the trophies were exhibited, the spoils are divided. Read that.
The spoils were divided according to the merit of the warriors. These prisoners which were not sold or redeemed, we kept as slaves. But how different was their condition from that of slaves in the West Indies?
So occasionally, Israel, we would have a war. We fight each other. You know, neighboring countries, we had battle, we had beef, we'd fight. And if we did conquer someone and take them alive in war, they were captive, we would force them to be our servants or slaves. But the slavery we had them under was different from the Europeans' form of slavery, is what he's saying. Go ahead.
With us, they do not more work than other members of the community, even their master.
So our war captives that we fought, they ended up working off their debt. Since you fought against us and took lives or whatever, you had to work off that debt as a war captive. Go ahead.
Their food, clothing, and lodging were nearly the same as theirs, except that
it was the same people fighting each other. Go ahead.
Except that they were not permitted to eat with those who were freeborn.
Right.
And there was scarce any other difference between them than a superior degree of importance, which the head of a family possesses in our state, and that authority which, as such, he exercises over every part of his household. Some of these slaves have even slaves under them as their own property and for their own use.
As to religion, come on.
As to religion, the natives believe that there is one creator of all things.
That's what the Bible says. Go ahead.
And that he lives in the sun and is girded round with a belt, that he may never eat or drink. But according to some, he smokes a pipe, which is our own favorite luxury.
That's what we saw going off. Go ahead.
Esau brought that over.
Yeah.
They believe he governs events.
That's the truth. They believe that he governs events. Our creator governs events. Go ahead.
Especially our deaths or captivity.
Wow. He governs our deaths and he governs our captivity. That's what Equiano knew, according to the Bible. Watch this.
But as for the doctrine of eternity,
watch this.
I do not remember to have ever heard of it.
Watch this.
Some, however, believed in the transmigration of souls.
You know what that is? That means you die and you come back over and over and over and over again in a different body. That's in the Bible, transmigration of souls. You come back over and over again. You never die, really. We believe that. The prophets of us did. Go ahead. In a certain degree, he's saying. Go ahead.
Some, however, believed in the transmigration of souls in a certain degree.
We believe that. Watch this.
Those spirits which are not transmigrated, such as their dear friend
or
relatives, they believe always attend them and guard them from the bad spirits of their foes.
That's the paganism comes in. Go ahead.
For this reason, they always, before eating, as I have observed,
watch this,
put some small portion of the meat and pour some of their drink.
You know, back in the culture of black folks, if someone died, we always pour out to the homie, they pour liquor on the ground. That's where they got this from. The ablation. They pour liquor on the floor. Yo, my dead homie, man. Yo, man. Which is stupid as hell, but we will pour liquor on the floor in honor of them. That's what we got. We got it from here. Go ahead. Observe the drink. Go down, we see. What I have highlighted? Go down. What page is this? Go to page 24. Right there. They have, watch this.
They have many offerings, particularly at full moon.
Where?
Full moon.
When?
Full moon.
Because those were our new moons. So we had offerings on them. Full moons, new moons. New moon, full moon, same thing. Go ahead.
Generally 2 at harvest, before the fruits are taken out of the ground and when any young animals are killed. Sometimes they offer up part of them as sacrifice.
Go on.
These offerings, when made by one of the heads of a family, serve for the whole.
Watch.
I remember
that's a lamb. Go ahead. Watch.
I remember we often had them at my father's and my uncle's.
Watch.
And their families have been present.
Watch.
Some of our offerings are eaten with bitter herbs.
Passover. We were keeping Passover. Go ahead.
We had a saying among us to anyone of a cross temper, that if they were to be eaten, they would be eaten with bitter herbs.
That's Passover. We kept Passover in Africa. Come on, watch.
We practice circumcision like the Jews.
Children got circumcised the 8th day, and they still practice that in Nigeria to this day. The 8th day, they must be circumcised. That's law, biblical law. Go ahead.
And we made offerings of feasts on that occasion in the same manner as they did. Like them also.
Like them, the Jews also. He doesn't know he's a Jew, so he's saying, well, our customs are very much like this. He might be them. Watch.
Our children were named from some event, some circumstance, or fancy foreboding.
Prophecy. Named by prophecy. Go ahead.
At the time of their birth. I was named Olaudah.
Which means?
Which in our language signifies vicissitude.
That was Captain Zakar's class the other day. Vicissitudes of life. Go ahead.
Or fortunate also. One favored and having a loud voice and well spoken.
That's what that means. Now get page 25. I have before remarked
that the natives of this part of Africa are extremely clean.
They're very clean. We washed our behind. You know, we use washcloths. You Edomites don't know about washcloths. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This necessary habit of decency was with us a part of a religion.
To be clean. Go ahead.
And therefore, we had many purifications and washings. Indeed, almost as many. And used on the same occasions, if my recollection does not fail me, as the Jews.
Temple law. Come on.
Those that touched the dead at any time were obliged to wash and purify themselves before they could enter a dwelling house.
Watch this.
Every woman, too, at certain times during menstruation.
During her period, during her time of uncleanness, during menstruation, go ahead, was what?
Was forbidding to come into a dwelling house or touch any person or anything we eat.
Or anything we eat. Where is this from? Read on.
I was so fond of my mother, I could not keep from her or avoid touching her at some of these periods.
Watch.
In consequence of which I was obliged to be kept out with her in a little house made for that purpose till offering was made, and then we were purified.
Where's this from? Get the law. What I want. Leviticus what, 15? Leviticus 15. Now give me the black one. Give me the revised. This is the original version of this book. Give me the revised version of this book, and that same exact statement is written. I'm not sure where it's written at. Leviticus 15.
Verse 19.
Yeah, 15 verse 19. Read that.
Leviticus chapter 15 verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood,
That's true.
She shall be put apart 7 days.
How long?
7 days.
In a separate house. If the child touches her when she's in that period, that child is unclean also. Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even.
Read on.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
Whatever she touches shall be unclean. Now, I want to read the revised version of the same instance. Hold on. Go down. Let me see if this is it. Let me see. Mother. Hold on. Wait. Pictures. No, another page. It's not what I want. It mentions the same exact account with his mom. Click out of that. Next, go to another page. Go, let me see. Bring it up. Let me see. Go down. I'm going to show you how evil the Edom is. This is a revised version of the same book. Hold on.
Wait, D, it wasn't on the last page, second paragraph?
Go back. Hold up.
It says, I was there, suppose, about a month, and they at length used to trust me.
I mentioned him and his mom, but same thing we read earlier. But this is a revised version. Go to another page. We're going to find that page. Let me see. Flogging, alarm me, violent passion. Nope. Go another page. Go it up. Let me see. Go up to the top. Nope. Another page. Hold on. Let me see. Nope. Go back. Let me see. Nope. Go back. Another page. Is that it? I'll get another one. Mentions his mom. Oh, wait. Culture, language, country, about river. Nope. Another page. Might be 30-something. Let me see. I circled it. It might be right here. Hold on. Go down to the part. Red faces. Now it's Edomites. That's good, though. That's not what I want, though. Go out of that. Next page. 32. Dash. Nothing. Nope. Go next one. Next one. There's mom. Nope. Next one. Appeared. Bit of cries heard. Nope. Next one. Nope. Next one. Ain't it? That it? Let me see. You read the revised version. I want to show that they took that out. That whole part with her being unclean. Go back.
Yeah, that's
it. Read those spirits which are not transmigrated. We read that earlier in the original version.
Those spirits which are not transmigrated, such as their dear friends or relations, they believe always attend them and guard them from the bad spirits or their foes. For this reason, they always, before eating, as I have observed, put some small portion of the meat and pour some of the drink on the ground for them. And they often make oblations of the blood of beasts or of fowls at their graves.
Watch this.
I was very fond of my mother.
Read this earlier. Go ahead. Matter of fact, if you can, put them side by side. Can you do that? Put them side by side. I'm going to show you the evil of what they do. Now, give me the book over here. I'm going to show you something. Give me the book real quick. I have it over there. I'm going to show it to the audience. Put them side by side. That's why we buy older books. Because older books, they revise them and there's evil involved. Okay? This is the original copy here. All right? It's going to be hardcover, green, like this. This is the original hard copy cover. All right? We here believe in tangibility. We want to have it in our hand. PDF is all right, but I prefer to open the book, smell the pages. Tangibility. You have to have it in our hand. I don't like the whole PDF thing. It makes me feel like it's not genuine, even though it is. So now, we try to even it out some. All pages, what, 25? Yes, sir. Okay. Come on, we ain't got much time. All right, here we go. Thank you. So read
the old version first?
Necessary, yeah, old first.
This necessary habit of decency.
No, those that touch the dead, read that from there.
Those that touch the dead at any time were obliged to wash and purify themselves before they could enter a dwelling house.
Go ahead.
Every woman, too, at certain times during menstruation, was forbidding to come into a dwelling house or touch any person or anything we eat.
Watch.
I was so fond of my mother, I could not keep from her
Come on.
or avoid touching her at some of those periods, in consequence of which I was obliged to be kept out with her in a little house made for that purpose till offering was made, and then we were purified.
Now, go read the next part here.
Though we had no places of public worship,
no temple,
we had priests and magicians.
Priests means elders. Now, go to the next page now. Regarding purification. Let's see if that's written there. In the revised version. Go to where it says the same thing. Where it starts at
for this reason.
That touched.
Oh, you want me to start for this reason?
Yeah, whatever. Go ahead. Yeah,
for this reason, they always, before eating, as I have observed, put some small portion of the meat and pour some of the drink on the ground for them. And they often make oblations of the blood of beasts or of fowls at their graves. I was very fond of my mother and was always constantly with her.
Watch.
When she went to make these oblations at her mother's tomb, which was a kind of small, solitary, thatched house. I sometimes attended her. There she made her libations and spent most of the night in cries and lamentations. I have been often extremely terrified on these occasions.
That's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Let me see. They cut it. Wait. They cut it out. Let me see. Go to those spirits migrated. Go up.
Nah, because remember, he said I was fond of my mother.
Yeah.
And they took it out.
They took it out.
They took it out entirely.
Go down and see. Fond of my mother. Where's fond of my mother at?
Right there.
Right. To touch the dead anytime. Go up to the top of the old one. So they chopped it at where it says if occasion, some occasion. Where's it at? A new side. Let's see. Occasion governs. Yep.
Yeah, they took it out.
Yeah, observed. Yep. It's completely removed. The part with their administration, forbidden to come into a dwelling house, is completely removed. It's not there. Does not belong there. They added this here. It took out the whole menstruation cleanness thing, took it out entirely. That's why I don't like buying revised version books. Because they read it, they go, oh, he keeps talking about them being Jews here. Take it out, add some other stuff in there. That's nonsense. This is not in the original copy. This is the original copy here. The green hard copy. Now, the one I had, the revised one, is a black soft book. Bigger. And it has it's completely a whole different thing here. She was screaming. That's the one there. That right there is the revised version. That's not the one. It's the green cover. The green cover one's the one you want. So when you guys know, that's why we buy the older the book, the better it is, because they revise it and they take things out and they change things around that do not belong there. You don't find anywhere during menstruation forbidden to come into a dwelling house. That's not in the revised version. Why? Because there's evil involved. That's all I want. So now, give me page 26. Almost done. I'm gonna lay on 26. No, the old one. Yeah, the old one. Let the revised thing go. I don't get no more. 26. Read that there. So it says by their. Now go back to the old one. I'm in page 25 again. The bottom. Read that.
They wore their beards.
They what? Wait. Read from the top. Though we had no places.
Though we had no places of public worship, we had priests and magicians or wise men.
Wise men mean elders, prophets. Go ahead.
I do not remember whether they had different offices or whether they were united in the same person.
They're the same purpose. Go ahead.
But they were held in great reverence by the people.
Watch.
They calculated our time.
They calculated our moons. Go ahead.
And foretold events.
They prophesied.
As their name imported. For we called them Alpha Weka. which signifies calculators, are yearly men, our year being called Alpha. They wore their beards.
They rocked the beards. Go ahead.
And when they died, they were succeeded
by their sons.
Mm-hmm. Most of their implements and things of value were interred along with them. Pipes and tobacco were also put into the grave with the corpse, which was always perfumed and ornamented.
Jump down to none accompanied their funerals.
None
accompanied. Go to the top. You cut it off. Scroll up.
None accompanied their funerals, but those of the same profession or tribe.
That's happened with Levi. Only Levi, they buried their own. Go ahead.
These buried them after sunset.
Sundown, we buried them. Go ahead.
And always returned from the grave by a different way from that which they went.
Come on.
These magicians were also our doctors or physicians. They practiced bleeding by cupping.
They use cupping. So if you were injured, they use cupping. Like, I think the Asians do that now. You get injured, I believe it's called cupping. They put the cup on you. I think they heat. I think they use heat. I forgot they do it. They put cupping on you. Put the cups on you, and there's like a healing method. Go ahead.
And we're very successful in healing wounds and expelling poison.
You watch the movie Karate Kid with Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son? When he got injured in the fight toward the end, he used cupping, and he healed his leg temporarily. At that time, it's called cupping. We were doing that over there. Go ahead.
They had likewise some extraordinary method of discovering jealousy, theft, and poisoning. The success of which no doubt they derived from their unbounded influence over the credulity and superstition of the people.
So what happened when people didn't believe that these guys have prophetic or spiritual understanding or abilities? Go ahead.
I do not remember.
To perceive things. Go ahead.
I do not remember what those methods were, except that as to poisoning. I recollect an instant.
So he remembers a time when they saw, basically, these guys were solving a mystery of a crime. Someone got poisoned and they died. So people are like, how are they going to figure out who did it? How are they going to know? So these guys proved themselves before the people that they could figure out things spiritually by investigating. Remember in Deuteronomy 19 where it says due diligent inquisition. That's what we did. Watch, it's going to say it.
I do not remember what those methods were, except that as to poisoning. I recollect an instance or two, which I hope it will not be deemed impertinent here to insert, as it may serve as a kind of specimen of the rest. Specimen of the rest. And it's still used by the Negroes in the West Indies.
So Benjamin still remembers this. Watch, it passed on. Watch.
A young woman had been poisoned.
She poisoned, she died. Go ahead.
But it was not known by whom.
No one knew who poisoned her. She died. No one knew who it was. Go ahead.
The doctors ordered the corpse to be taken up by some persons and carried to the grave.
Watch.
As soon as the bearers had raised it on their shoulders, they seemed seized with some sudden impulse.
Watch. So they were going to take her body and carry it to her grave, but then something made them change direction. Go ahead. Watch.
They seemed seized with some sudden impulse and ran to and fro.
So running around with the body in her hand. Watch. In their hands. Go ahead.
Unable to stop themselves.
They couldn't stop what they were doing. Go ahead.
At last, after having passed through
No, but these are the priests that were doing this. Go ahead.
Passed through a number of thorns and prickly bushes unhurt.
Watch.
The corpse fell from them close to a house.
The body, they dropped it close to a house. Go ahead.
And defaced it in the fall.
And her face was messed up in the fall. Go ahead.
And the owner being taken up, he immediately confessed the poisoning.
They dropped her body in front of the house of the guy that poisoned her in the first place. But that's what these priests are doing.
But a spirit kind of like led them.
The spirit moved them to where the person that did it killed that.
Damn.
And that story is prevalent, found among Benjamin in the West Indies. They remember that story. So people realize these guys, the Lord doing with them. That just shows you how people had some kind of power even back then to kind of solve. Like remember Peter and lady, what's it, Ananias and Sapphira when they lied. The Spirit moved them to know you lying. And you read Acts 6. All right. We're gonna end it on that. It's getting kind of late. I want to hold you guys up. We got another thing going on, so we're gonna stop there. What page is that? 26.
That's 27, I believe, right there.
27. All right. So yeah, all praise to the Most High for that. We're gonna continue with this book into page. Remind me to go to Acts 6. We'll read this again. We'll read this again and go to Acts 6, chapter 1, or verse 1. Look at this.
Yes,
but
sir.
then that's the Sapphira. We'll read that in conjunction with that. But for lack of time, we're going to stop there. Hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I enjoyed the lesson because we got heathens on here mad. Why did the heathen rage? As you know, that's what's happening right now. What happened earlier today. All praise to the Most High for that. So we're going to continue pushing this truth. Going into these slave ships, going into the witnesses of the slave ships who were on them, bringing this out. So all praise to the Most High. Now we know where niggas got it from. We got it from white folks. You got Edomites on here. Now we know where they got it from. You got Edomites pushing the narrative that we were never brought here in ships. I thought that was some jail stuff. No, it's Edomites behind the scenes pushing Negroes to believe that they were never brought here in ships and they were always here to remove the white guilt and atrocities that were done by their hands against our people on them ships. Brought us over here. So you cannot make this up. Brothers and sisters, brothers, we have work to do. We have much work to do. These nations are conspiring, and we must stand strong and firm and defend this gospel and defend the truth. All right? So with that, shalom. Let's continue. All right? Announcements.
Okay, make sure you mention to donate.
Oh, don't forget to donate, y'all. We found out that I'm not doing this again. Whatever the box is, opposite direction. You got it. Y'all can, yeah. Donate. Once again, to the Booster Club, to the Land Fund. Brothers and sisters, donate what you can. We do not deal with tithing. Okay, there's no temple here. There are not no Levites here asking for tithing. So we require your willful offering, your alms, your willful contribution. All right. So please, all praises. There you go. It's late, but all praises. So donate to the Booster Club. You know what we're doing. You know how we do it. You see what we're doing, where the money is going. So be helpful and give your willful contributions. We appreciate if you have. Also to the book fund. Like I said before, the oldest books are the best ones. All right. So with your helpful donations, we've been able to acquire these books, and we thank you for that. So all praise to the Most High. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Manny. You up?
You got it, Manny.
All praises to the Lord. Let's give the Lord a round of applause.
Who was that?
We're going to give the Lord a round of applause.
Okay.
And we're going to give Deacon a round of applause for the beautiful class.
Okay. He's rusty, man. He's behind the scenes, man. He's rusty. It's all right. All
like somebody turning you down. Like,
damn. That's all right. All praise to the Most High.
Thank you, officers. All right, so our hidden history, we have YouTube.
Hey, just have that on standby, man. The little boy. Don't leave that out. Manny ain't back there, so he can't control nothing. So you got to make sure you have that thing playing. Go ahead, Manny.
All right, so
I believe in you, man.
All praise.
Have the standby prepared.
So we got YouTube videos on our hidden history. We also have IUIC Philadelphia in the classroom. Also, make sure you donate to OHH on PayPal. Our email address is iuic.philadelphia@israelunite.org. Also, donate to the Booster Club on PayPal, iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Last but not least, subscribe to IUIC TV to get exclusive content from the leadership of IUIC. We also have a missing person. Our sister is Daya Ward. She's age 15 years old, sex female, race is African American, hair color brown, eye color brown, height 5'3", weight is 108 pounds. Daya was last seen on October 30th, 2024, wearing a white shirt, black cargo pants.
Also understand that recently, from what I saw, we were able to return a brother back home who was missing. Shout out to the, I forgot what congregation it was. My fault for not remembering, but I know that on Facebook it's going viral that we were actually, an Israelite group, was successfully returned a young boy back home that was missing. So this is definitely being effective. We're teaching it and we're doing it. All praise to the Most High for that. So we're going to keep doing this. All right?
All praise. That's right. If you know the whereabouts of our sister, or if you know any information, please contact the local authorities. Mm-hmm. Land Fund, you heard it from the bishop. He put out the vision for the next year Passover. We need our own land, so let's make it happen, Israel. Mm-hmm. So if you want to make a check out, you can send it to Israel United in Christ, P.O. Box 2695, Newburgh, New York, 12550, or you can also do it on PayPal. Israel@israelunite.org, but in the comment section, land. Yes. Shalom, we are seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. So feedback is definitely needed so we can improve the radio show of OHH. And that's all we have, Deke.
All right, so all praise to the Most High for that. You guys enjoyed the class. I thoroughly enjoyed the class, and I learned a valuable lesson today. I've learned that black people have no opinion unless the white man puts it in their brain for them. I thought that was a jailbird doctrine, But apparently, it's Edomites that's pushing that doctrine in the minds of ignorant black people. This is crazy. So I learned something new, a new revelation today, that these heathens are literally responsible for every single ignorant thought that black people in the world have. So now you got to come at it harder now. We got way more witnesses to bring out. Lord's Road next week. So hopefully I'll see y'all next week. We got more to go into, man. So stay tuned. Shalom, Most High in Christ bless, and see y'all soon.
Shalom.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.